Good afternoon from the floor this evening. This is Chris Robinson with your Traders Exclusive comment for today, Thursday, the 28th day, the last business day of February. Tomorrow we'll get ready and welcome March. I want to focus primarily on the grain trade. The last week or so, we've had a disconnect between what the market was expecting based on news headlines and what we've gotten in price discovery. Got to start with taking a look at the soybean action and the corn and the wheat. We had anticipated at the beginning of this week that we'd have a higher move in prices. There was some very good news out that supposedly the Chinese were going to more than double their purchases of U.S. agricultural goods. What does that mean? Well, 17-18, they did just under $20 billion worth of total purchases. They were talking, or we were led to believe, that they were going to do that original plus an additional $30 billion worth of purchases. And you saw an interesting disconnect. Sunday night, soybeans and corn all had a higher move, but since then, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we've been drifting lower. So the market has not received confirmation of what the politicians have told us. The market's voting with its feet. We'll start with wheat, right? You have to take a look at a chart of wheat. Wheat is at 12, 13, 14-month lows. Even though the market's very, very oversold and a lot of people are trying to call the bottom, every time we turn around, we drop another 5, 6, 7 cents. So it looks like wheat is taking the brunt of new sales. If you look at corn, corn had held up pretty well, been at about a 20 to 25 cent trading range. Right now, we're making a new 5-month lows. We're back to, within a dime of the contract lows for the spot month corn. So that's negative. We're at the bottom of that range. If you look at new crop corn, which is what the farmers are going to be growing next year, we're below the psychologically important $4 level. Also, roughly 10 to 15 cents away from possibly re-challenging the contract low, which we saw. So negative there. The one positive, and relatively speaking, is soybeans. Despite the fact that the soybeans are the most sensitive to Chinese news, because China traditionally has been a very large buyer of our soybeans, it's remained relatively strong when you look at the action in corn and wheat. We're still $1 off the contract lows, give or take a bit. In fact, I just looked at the chart of May beans. If you go back now, we're about 65 cents off that bottom. So it's not great, but it's still, we're not anywhere near as negative the type of action that we've seen in corn and wheat recently. So will soybeans be the last shoe to drop? Or will we go home next over the weekend and start the first week of March? Maybe we'll finally get the good news and we'll get confirmation of all this supposedly new buying, which is coming down the road. So it's a very critical point, not only for the price discovery, but March is coming upon us. In 2 or 3 weeks, farmers are going to be deciding what they're going to plant next year. So it's very critical with new crop corn prices hovering around $4. That's going to be a decision. Will farmers plant more soybeans? Because even soybeans at $9.40 or $9.50 are profitable. Corn around $4, $3.90, $3.80. It's a question as to whether some farmers will make a profit planting at those current levels. So this is all coming together, supply, demand, the time of the year, the weather. And right now, the market is, again, waiting for the promises of the politicians to actually hit the market. If we were to see that confirmation of that doubling of buying, logic will tell you that we'd be higher. But every day that report gets kicked down the road and there's no confirmation, the market is kind of voting with its feet. So I'll leave you with this. The biggest concern I have is money flow right now. Money flow of speculative funds has now shifted to slightly being short grains. They have been long corn really for the first 2 months of the year. They were long about 80,000, 90,000 contracts of corn. They've now flipped in the past 10 days where they're short about 10,000, 15,000. So it's not a massive bet yet, but it certainly shows that the investment community, the speculative community, is starting to come away from this idea that we're going to get an announcement. So the next month to 6 weeks is going to be critical for the grains. That's about it. If you're looking for help with your hedging, please look us up. Chris Robinson, a managing director and partner at the Cal Guy Group. Hope to hear from you.